Welcome to the weekend show with Mediumjay. Today I gotta say it, man. I gotta say it. Biggest of what? The Superbowl just happened, man. That shit was big, bro. Biggest of what? Biggest of what? I told y'all motherfuckers, man. I said, hey, last week, I'm like, yo, I got a strange feeling. Philly's gonna fucking just tear them niggas apart. I said that shit. I was like, yo. And I didn't even watch the Super Bowl because I was like, yo, I just know Philly gonna win. I don't need to watch it, bro. The motherfuckers are hungry. You know, their fans was just booing the shit out of Taylor Swift. It's the era of the underdog. And no better way to encapsulate that era than fucking Kendrick Lamar coming in. And, yo, a lot of motherfuckers that don't get rap, a lot of motherfuckers that are like, they just like the hype train. Motherfuckers like the Migos, and they think Tupac's whack, and they're like, yo, I just want to listen to that. Whatever gets a chick in the club to shake her ass music, that type of shit. No motherfuckers probably thought that shit was boring. And to be honest, I can see where they're coming from, right? Kendrick Lamar his set list was kind of out of place. He did hype, then he calmed down, then hype, then calmed down, or whatever, then hype again, to end it. It was kind of all over. It was a sporadic kind of set list, but he got in his message, especially his Black History Month, right? He had Samuel L. Jackson as a host, kind of like hyping him up as a hype man. It's crazy to have Samuel L. Jackson as a hype man. He had Serena Williams crip walking. Shit was wild, man. He brought out Mustard! Wearing a yellow shirt just for Mustard and a fucking wraparound catch-up because these niggas got catch-up, you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Drake, but man, you are, I don't know what you gotta do, Drake, but you gotta fucking basically just kill this nigga, man. Because this nigga had he wore a lowercase a for A minor. He had everybody in the fucking Super Bowl singing, "You fucking like kid, you a pedophile." Dude. Like it's tough. It's tough to it's so bad, man. I was scrolling through, Instagram, and World Star Hip Hop popped up, and this is what Drake's doing. This is what Drake's on right now. You scroll through it, and it's like World Star Hip Hop says, Drake liked a stream or a video of K Senate or whatever, that streamer, that fucking, where he was breaking down, he was going through Kendrick Lamar's set list or whatever on the Super Bowl halftime, going through his performance, and then he's like, wait a minute, stream, isolate that. They added in cheers during like one of the songs where Kendrick Lamar, it wasn't a hype song, it was one of those deep songs where motherfuckers are just supposed to listen. And I always thought it's tough to be a deep motherfucker. Like, you always gotta bring hype songs, when you're performing. I thought it was tough, but the way he pixelated it or encapsulated it, it was good. It was good. Like, I watched the whole thing front to back. I wasn't like, this shit's, I'm not turning this off. It was captivating, right? It was like engaging. Like it was the perfect kind of mix and blend of hype music. All right, now here's something to reflect on, right? Like, and I think The Game did that well a few years back with Drillmatic Hearts versus Minds or whatever. That's it's like you wanna go and rob a nigga to feed your family, but you also want to do the right thing and just fucking raise your family right. So it's like, how could they learn from you if you're out there in these streets, right? But that's like the duality of a black man. I think most of the time it's like, man, our whole culture is built upon like gang violence, just shooting up a nigga, doing whatever, fucking bitches in the club, whatever. And then at the end of the day, it's like, we also want to build our own business. We also want to, uplift each other. And it's like, well, we're shooting each other, but we're we're shooting a nigga, and then we go to his funeral and say we pray for all, pray for all Black Lives Matter and type shit. Like it's very difficult. I feel as though, especially being, as white as I am too. I feel like the opposite of Uncle Ruckus. You know what I mean? I feel like I wanna just, but it's fucking tough, man. Cause it's like, where do you begin to uplift an entire culture out the mud, bro? Like a lot of the time, man, it's like trying to build up something, and it's like some niggas will just rob you. You'll be like, yo, okay, listen, like if we're getting money together, we're getting a business. Okay, we got this, that, and that. Let's fucking make this, and that, right? This is the goal. And then you go, all right, okay, so you need some money to fund it? Okay, then it's gone. And so many and I know a lot of black business owners right now are probably like, yeah, like it's just how it goes, man. Like, it's like, it's like, I love my people, but fuck Chris Rock shit. I hate these niggas, man. I love my people, but fuck, I hate these niggas. Because sometimes you just go, yo, what, like, that, whatever, okay, you stole $500-600 from me. And then never again did we ever, try to build anything. It was just, that was it. You got a positive of $600-700, whatever. I mean, $1,000. I never gave them that much money to somebody without really trusting them. But let's just say you got $1,000, right? Did you make that? Did you make a business? Did anything pop off after that? You know what I mean? Trying to start something with people, and then everybody's immediately, once something gets real, or there's just like, they just get the money in their hands, they do the dash and they're gone, man. It's sad, man. And that's human nature, but for the most part, at least, the one thing I like about like Asians, and even white people are kind of having difficulty with it too nowadays, right? Like white kids, I don't know what they're on, but like they just think that they're just gonna get famous, right? It's the Asian culture has that very like, all right, let's work together. And then once it's all established and we're all making, I'm gonna backstab you, right? They have that, like, once it's settled and the dust is cleared and the business is amazing, I'm gonna do weird lawyer shit and get above you, and then bam, I'm gonna hop over. Once the game's over, you checkmate the motherfucker. You don't start the chess match, move one thing, and then sock the guy in the face and take his wallet and run away, right? There's a, you know what I mean? You just win you put the money up and you win the chess game right at the end when you're playing with a motherfucker. I don't know. But anyways, that aside, biggest of what? Man, it's gotta be tough to be Drake, right? It's gotta be tough. Cause first off, man, literally, this motherfucker made a song talking about the next Super Bowl. The biggest, maybe it was a couple years ago, but yo, he's big as the Super Bowl. As big as the Super Bowl, The goal for Kendrick is fucking, you gotta understand, if you laid out what happened truly with this beef, because I don't know if a lot of motherfuckers do, and I guess I'll have to go on to it, because, I'm a hip-hop head. I like to, immerse myself in hip-hop for the most part, and, you like to study and keep up with this shit, because, man, so that literally, the biggest of what? With him and J. Cole, he had this song, I don't even know, man. It was like, The Goats or something like that. It was something where it's like, two goats, one beat, some bullshit like that. It was J. Cole and Drake jerking each other off. Because at the time, there was this, like, it was for, I'd say, decades. Not decades, but at least 10 years or so. Since 2014, Forest Hill Drives, right? 2014, I think that was it. 2014 Forest Hill Drives, right around that J. Cole started, because that was an amazing album. It went platinum, no features, big accomplishment for a lyricist MC. That was big, but J. Cole hasn't really done much since that album. To be honest, each album was progressively, flopping compared to what he did. going platinum, right? But that's how most fucking artists, they peak at a certain level. That's Michael Jackson. Thriller, Bad was good, but Thriller was the record breaker, right? Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Bad came in and broke records too. I don't know, but the first album, people go, I wish he was, I wish Michael Jackson was black again, type shit, right? He's kind of going into some weird area, but nonetheless, J. Cole made that album. And he was kind of on that, going like, Drake, Kendrick, I love y'all niggas. I think even Wale at the time was in that thing, because Wale was coming out with that lyrical shit, where he came out with the album About Nothing, which I think today is one of my favorite albums. Where he got Jerry Seinfeld. Is an album about nothing, right? I thought it was so creative because most motherfucking MCs try to make albums about something, but he took that coined term with there's a show about nothing with Seinfeld, and then he got Jerry Seinfeld to be like his conscience almost on the album. I still, to this day, you could listen to that. It's like, as soon as I listen to that front to back, which very rare you can do to an album, you can go, this is amazing, and it's like almost like you can put it in a time capsule. 20 years later, you can listen to it, and it's that good. Very hard to do with albums, especially hip-hop albums nowadays, right? But nonetheless, on the album, he talks about that. And then I guess Wale, within that 10 years or so, fell off. He was kind of didn't know how to bounce back. He was still doing, minor club shit, but also, he's aging, so it wasn't that good, right? I don't know. Fell off in terms of NMC. So it became the big three, right? The big three was Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole. A big triangle, and you could flip it anytime these niggas are getting, top albums whenever they drop albums, right? Type shit. They have the world, when they drop, they have the world talking, right? So they are the top three MCs in terms of mainstream success. Fast forward to about a few years ago, Kendrick Lamar was kind of isolating himself. Around the pandemic, J. Cole and Drake were still doing we're doing shows, we're popping up here, the pandemic just, we're trying to get back out and, get our numbers going back, get this music shit going. They're doing shows and whatnot. J. Cole and Drake, they made that song. Biggest of what? Biggest of what? Biggest, big. They're together, big as the Superbowl. Drake and J. Cole, when they feature together, and it was one of those things where it's like the big three. It's the big three. Who is it? K-Dot. People be arguing the artist that MCs. Who is the top? Big three. Is it K-Dot, Aubrey, or me? And then that, honestly, that line right there just cut the song together. All you gotta do is, send that to Kendrick. Kendrick's sleeping, going like, wait a minute, what the fuck are these niggas talking about? Kendrick then gets on a song with Future called Like That. And this is a throwaway track, to be honest, man. It's not. It's a Future track. Kicking in doors, is you like that? Is you like that? Robert, is you like that? It's not groundbreaking, revolutionary music, but the verse that K-Dot Kendrick came in on was so fucking, like, it's historical, because that's literally the first arrow in terms of, like, if a war is being started back in, the fucking, the 1300s or whatever, and it's like, it's the first arrow that grazes the king, and he goes, wait a minute, what is this? Sire, what is this? Gesture, peasants, what? Sir, it appears you're bleeding. we gotta wrap you up. Right? We gotta wrap you up. You're bleeding, and it's like, K-Dot made sure, Drake, J. Cole felt that one. And it was one of those ones where, like, out of so many, like, sneak disses and this and that, them going back and forth in terms of like, well, I don't even know. I honestly, I watched this video breakdown of like what they do outside of rap, like interviews. Drake flip flops, right? Drake most of the time talks about like, I appreciate Kendrick and this and that. I don't think Kendrick Lamar talked about Drake once into a solid interview. He just kind of goes, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know. I'd rather talk about something. I try to just keep it focused on me. And it's genius because it's the complete like radio silence in terms of music until he drops the music. And you can tell how he feels through the song, and it is very like, this guy really does not like Drake, because bro, the fucking verse that he laid out on Like That was like, man, fuck the big three, nigga, it's just big me, nigga, bum. I think he was talking about J. Cole, because J. Cole was bringing that up, but since it was Drake and J. Cole, both in that three, they're all trying to put themselves in that pyramid type shit. Drake was like, yo, what the fuck, you going at Cole like that? So I don't know who came up with it first, but I think J. Cole and Drake both decided they're gonna do a diss track to this nigga. So they're like, I think it was J. Cole made Drill Time. Literally, the album cover said, which it might delete later, right? That was his, like, he is coming up with an album called Might Delete Later. And this nigga literally deleted it, right? It was horrible, you know what I mean? Because it was okay. It was okay, right? But, like, it made sense why he deleted it. But, so Drake, J. Cole deleted this shit, and Drake kept this shit called Push-Ups. Now, honestly, Push-Ups was a good song for the time. Time being, it was good. Like, it was like, it's like, pipe down, Cole might get nervous about this shit, but not me. And Cole be losing sleep and not me. I don't know if that was on that song. I can't remember, man. It's kind of all getting jumbled together. Drake kind of has a very repetitive flow, I guess. But after Push-Ups came along, there was this time, I'd say about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks of like, Kendrick Lamar was, I guess, maybe just writing, right? Like, to be honest, or maybe he was just letting the hype die down. You know what I mean? You don't fight fire with fire when your enemy, when your enemies are blazing, it's time to just, sit back and, maybe dodge, right? You know what I mean? You don't swing wildly, two motherfuckers swinging wildly, you can get knocked out, right? Especially because Drake was a heavy hitter. He was he was number one. He was number one. Was. At the time, right? So it's like, maybe J. Cole and you know what, man? Kendrick does remind me of this fucking one story that they talk about in Robert Greene talks about in the 48 Laws of Power, right? There's this chess master that was so good. It was like some, I don't know, Russian guy or something like that. And then there's this one, I don't know, I think American guy coming up. And like he was slated, like it was like one of those 20 odds 1 to 28 or whatever, where literally like everybody's like, yo, this guy's gonna lose. But he's the best chess guy. He's like this contender, right? But it's like this guy's like a Muhammad Ali chess master or a Mike Tyson in his prime type shit versus the guy that they just need it because they need a match and right, they need to sell some seats or whatever. He needs to fight somebody. So this guy came in and like on paper, right, Drake should not be losing to Kendrick in terms of like commercial success, commercially, right? And it's the same kind of exact same play out through, right? Like you can kind of say like life is a simulation if you know this story, right? Because it's like this guy was playing chess with this dude, and like the guy showed up late, right? I think the first day he showed up, he didn't even show up. He got disqualified the first day. People are like, oh, he's scared, right? Like this is fucking absolute, this is gonna be fucking. The guy is sitting back going like, I guess the guy doesn't even want to play me, right? Like, I kind of want to play him, but, I mean, let's have a match going. We got to get paid or whatever the fuck. I don't know how chess works, but. So, Fast forward, the next match goes. He shows up like 5 minutes before he's about to be disqualified, all disgruntled and saying like, "Okay, let's." He was complaining about the lights. He was complaining about the structure, the stadium, and the stage, or whatever the fuck that was going on. He's like, "I don't like this and that." Da, da, da. And they just about to get disqualified again for till he just started playing. And when he was playing, he played like crazy moves that didn't make sense. It threw him off because usually the guy plays pretty fucking, calm and calculated, right? There's this chess players. Chess, he usually plays like, you're thinking moves ahead, but this guy was just, giving up his queen or, doing whatever, loses the second match, right? So the guy's like, I don't know what's going on, but this guy's fucking, maybe he's nervous. The guy is sitting back, the grandmaster chess guy, the Russian dude. And then the fucking guy comes in again the next day, right? And this is like a best of 7, right? So you're down 2, like people are like, he's not coming back the way things are. So it's literally like he's got it in a bag, so he's just kind of, not even really trying. And then, he's doing, again, the guy's pulling out these random moves or whatever that you can't really get a grip on. And the guy, the Russian grandmaster, is one of those guys that he gets in people's heads, and he finds out your flaws, and then, he doesn't beat you in 10 moves. He beats you in, 47, because he finds exactly how you operate. But the thing is, he couldn't get a solid foundation on this guy because he was just kind of fucking making. He was basically freestyling chess, right? And I do that. The way I play chess, I only start figuring it out, but it's not the best. I don't play chess the best, but I only start figuring it out if we play like 5 games. But the first 3, I'm just gonna wing it, right? Until we got to that 4th, 5th one, and then you start figuring it out, right? But yeah, like that's what the guy did, where you go, what the fuck's going on? This guy had no idea, but then he started just beating him. He got to the point where he beat him twice in a row, and they were tied up. And at that point, the guy's sweating, going like, this is not the same guy, right? There's some. He's, maybe he has some Bluetooth in his ear, radio thing. He was going on about like there's something, he switched out he starts complaining about the lights, like they switched out the wires and the lights and stuff like that. And long story short, the guy went insane, and I don't think the master, the Russian Grand Master or whatever, ever played he got beat so bad because he got swept after winning the first 2. He got swept, 5 games or whatever, best of whatever, and then the guy just beat him because he was so unpredictable, right? Like he couldn't understand what he was doing. And I feel as though that same thing applies to like you can't get a grip on what Kendrick was gonna do at that time. There was 2 weeks of just nothing. So Drake is out. Drake's being Drake at this point. Drake was like, oh man, I guess he's scared, it's week number 2. Drake was on, it was week number 2. K-Dot, where you at? Where's Kenny? Where's Lil Kenny? Oh my god, he's like joking, oh my god, I killed Kenny, like I guess I'm a bastard, right? I guess I just bodied that nigga. I guess he's scared, he must be hiding, right? Wrong. This nigga was in the lab, bro. Because I remember hearing at the time, I'm like, so the word on the street was that Kendrick already has 2 lined up. So he drops, I think it was Euphoria. And I think Euphoria was that song where it was like, Kendrick. That's what, you lull him with, and then Drake's like, all right, I'm going to body him with hype flows, right? Like if you're if Jay-Z and DMX are battling, Jay-Z's gonna do like a lyrical poet shit, and DMX, they talked about it, like DMX is so hyped that Jay-Z following DMX had to go into some lyrical shit because most of the shit that DMX has lyrical shit, but it's still grimy hood nigga shit, right? So Drake did played into the hype shit, right? And made I think it was I don't know, I think it might have been Family Matters, something like that, where he's talking about how like he beats his wife and shit like that. So Kendrick goes, "Meet the Grams," right? "Meet the Grams" was one of those songs where he picks apart your life to a certain degree, where it almost feels like he just holds your entire soul right before sucking you out, tells you exactly why you ain't shit, and then Shane's son comes along and just rips your soul out, right? Like that was like some like boogeyman shit. It was scary. It was one of those songs where not even not a lot of people even talk about, right? "Meet the Grams" is one of those songs where you have to sit down in like a dark room. You have to meditate a little bit. You have to, make sure you eat right. You don't want to be high for this, nigga. You don't want to be drunk. It's a sad song in terms of like, you listen to it and you go, oh shit, man. Like you almost, it's so good as a diss. You feel bad for Drake. That's how good, because it's like, yo, he's like, I feel sorry for the father, for your mother that has to put up with your constant what is it, womanizer abuse and shit like that. I feel sorry, but I hate your dad because the way he raised you type shit, and I wish I could kill your fucking grandpa because that would stop that nigga from even having a chance of giving birth to your bitch ass. And it's like, holy fuck. Right? Holy fuck, right? Remember back in the day, Tupac and Biggie, it was like, yo, who shot you, Tupac? I don't know. Man, you pulled up to my spot. Who shot you? Literally drops the next day after you're sitting in the hospital. I don't know. Who shot you? Right? And it's like, clearly, right? That's not a coincidence, right? Even if you have that shit stored for months away, you can plan a murder for months away, or you can plan, to just go, man, my good friend that, where we see each other, it's all Gucci, got shot trying to come pull up to the studio. So we're gonna not drop that shit about talking about who shot a nigga, right? Like there's like, and I bet P Diddy was in his ear like, no, nigga, not, like the snake in Harry Potter's tongue, like, nah, listen, you gotta fucking drop that big, it's big, we gotta drop it. Who gives a fuck? These niggas is nothing compared to you, big, type shit. But, and then, Pac was like, first off, I fuck you, bitch, fuck you, click, came in like that, right? Fast forward now, yo, K-Dot, and I'd say Drake, because Drake was going in until Kendrick really, like, plucked each individual strand of DNA, examined it, looked at it, and went, yo, deep down, you're not who you really are. You're a culture vulture. You've stolen multiple people's, especially multiple artists coming up, right? And the one thing you can't really deny, as being the top guy in the machine, is like almost every single hit that Drake featured with was like these up and coming guys. So and they would make like a song they're bubbling in the underground, like they're just getting to that point where then Drake comes along and goes, "What's up? These are my friends." And then once the hype train dies down, there's a point, you know what I mean? Fetty Wap had that. Fetty Wap, I don't even know if he has that, if he wants to release that song with Drake, because I think Drake ended up owning his own song, right? Like they do the song with the guy, a remix, gets to another level, and then once Drake kind of sits back, and either if they're still good, he comes back along, or if they kind of dwindle in as that one hit wonder kind of thing, Drake leaves them, and you never even the nigga don't even answer the calls anymore, right? I seen a bum actually, and not really a bum, but like this black guy, and he used to be just one of those guys drinking a fucking 40 ouncer by the fucking big king cans, motherfucker. I just need a king can. He'd ask me for money all the time, but I was like, he had tattoos and like a scar on his face. He looked like a real nigga, man. He looked like, but like basically homeless, right? Sitting out all day at the beer vendor, and he talked to me a lot, man. He's like, yo, I used to be partying. I used to be in Toronto partying with Drake. I used to do all of that shit, right? And I go, what happened? And he just went, because we were talking about that Drake Kendrick beef when it was popping off. Like everybody, all the niggas were talking about that shit. And he's like, Drake's Drake, man. You know what I mean? He just kind of left me, right? Like it was one of those, one of, I guess you just, and that's how it is, right? I guess like when you're in that business, you can really be like you put these people on, and then you go, you know what? I'm tired of them. I'm bored, right? You know, chop, get away from me. And you know, if you act like a dick, and you get called out on it by a real MC, man. Like people, all those people don't just forget about what happened to them or what you did to them, right? They all kind of sit in the waiting going like, it's the Julius Caesar effect, right? Like it's like, yo, there were so many people dissing Drake at that time, right? That it sounded awesome when Drake came out, like people were like making memes like Drake's Thanos, bro. He's taking on all of these rappers, right? Like, and it was at a point, man, it was really cool. Those 2 weeks for Drake, because it was like, yo, man, you know, Rick Ross, shut up, fatty. You know, you're almost 40, man. You know, just shut up, eat some chicken, nigga. Then it was like, you know, Kendrick, you short ass nigga, you can't even stand next to me. You know what I mean? Cole, weak as fuck. You know what I mean? He might, you know, Cole might be losing sleep, but nigga, not me. Then it was like, you know, it was just, you know, fuck. He even dissed the producer, bro. He's like, man, Metro Boomin, shut your ass up and make some drums, nigga. It was cool. I would say like that kind of thing was cool, but I don't think Drake kept it up, because Drake, here's where the beef really was, like, at a certain point. He was trying too much or not enough. But there was a certain balance that you have with music, where you can, with music, you can go into Eminem type shit, right? There's motherfuckers that rap like, but if it does, if you just, and there's no real feel to it, or there's the motherfuckers that go, okay, you know, give me that beat back. Oh shit, okay, you know, turn up my headphones. Okay, yeah. So I was smoking, yeah, and I was playing games, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like they're too slow. There's a perfect balance in terms of beats. You know, each song has beats per minute, right? And it's like you want to ride that beats per minute, right? You want to at least, you know what I mean? And the funny thing is, Kendrick has things where when they pull up the facts on Kendrick Lamar, like there is like a stat where it's like, Not Like Us is like, people go, it saves lives, literally, because Not Like Us is made in a perfect beats per minute, where if you're doing a like legitimate, like what is it, ER rooms, paramedics go, if you do the beats per minute to ding ding ding, it can resuscitate someone's heart, so it can bring back lives, like literally, like that type of shit where you're like, what? Like that's one of those, what? like it's like, you know, a nigga that's talking about more life, or a nigga that's legitimately bringing more life into people. Like Kendrick Lamar was one of those famous guys where I think this is like the first, like, you always hear people talk about music saving lives and stuff like that, but I truly did, I was like, you know, I mean, it's music, right? Any song you can look at and go, you know what, I'm gonna not kill myself today. But Kendrick Lamar has music where he literally will talk about some of the most you know, depressing shit, and you go, oh, the guy that has millions of fans worldwide, millions of dollars, you know, a rich guy, he could easily take the easy route and just be like, I'm the shit, yeah, you ain't shit, you know, hey, woman, come over here, you know, lay down on all fours, I'm gonna put my feet up on your back, right? Like, you could just treat people like shit if you really wanted to. But the song that he made was I Love Myself, way back, and we'll get back onto the beef, but and we'll talk some more. But I Love Myself was one of those songs where I literally was like, yeah, you know what? This is such a good song. To Pimp a Butterfly was a great album to follow up on. It was so great that, like, it just solidified him as, you know, even if he never made anything as good as that, he would still be good. But the constant battle as an MC is that you always want to top yourself. Like, you become in competition with yourself, which it's tough to beat yourself. This is why this beef was necessary for it. Was Kendrick needed this more than Drake did. I don't know why Drake played into it. If you're a long-term nigga, you just think, all right, man, let him have that like that track. Like, yeah, okay, you know, you're not as big as the big three. All right, we're just gonna go. You know what I mean? If it was that beef was left there and Drake didn't do push-ups and like literally call out by name Kendrick, it probably would have. His things wouldn't, even if he dropped the exact same stuff, it wouldn't have the impact, because you'd go like, Drake goes, I don't know, this nigga's just dissing the fuck out of me, man. I'm too busy for that, right? Like, you could just literally have done that, Drake. That's what you could have done. Now I think at this point, once Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, right, which is such a banger in terms of like, when you're going like, you ain't gotten as nearly as number ones as me did. Not Like Us, I listened to that song like I literally was drinking with George and Todd, my homies, old homies, old ass niggas, and we were getting drunk, and I remember going like, oh shit, man, everybody's talking about it. Hold on, guys, I gotta go be for the culture for a little bit, white boys, I'll be back. I was drunk as shit, listening to that going like, oh shit, dude. I was like, this nigga's so good in terms of like, I was like, this is the number one. I go this, and I'm like, man, I could. Then I'm at the pizza place the next day. They're playing that in the back of the East Indians are. I go, East Indians are playing it. I go, the Indians, the fucking East Indians are playing this shit. It's gonna hit another level, right? If you got the East Indians, that's like that's a billion, population-wide country. This nigga's to the moon, right? And it was so bad, Drake tried suing motherfuckers, saying that's not real, man. He's paying for those plays. You know what I mean? And they look and say 1 billion people in India, so 1 billion streams in India. You know what I mean? That looks sketchy. But everybody was fucking with that at the time, right? Because Drake famously was with that, a couple. He gets famous and he goes with people, and like they kind of like just. I think there was that East Indian guy that died, so people like were like, "What the fuck?" Drake didn't even talk about that dude in memoriam, where there's like this famous East Indian artist that Drake was with, or at least pictured with, and then he died, and then Drake never even mentioned it in terms of North America, right? I don't know, man. Like there's like a lot of like deep-seated hatred that bubbles up with Drake, right? And I don't know. Yeah. But Not Like Us is such a song where you go, okay. And it gets to the fucking moon. After the fucking, after the Grammys, 2 weeks ago, won fucking 5 awards. That's embarrassing, bro. He won 5 awards. The next week, people are going, this is insane gameplay that Kendrick Lamar is doing right now. It's basically like he's just dancing. He's crip walking on that nigga's grave right now. Like, it's fucking crazy, right? Holding up 5 Grammys for one song, not an album, nigga. You know what I mean? One song. You know how hard it is? One song to get 5 different Grammys, right? Best whatever, best this, I don't even know. Can't even count them. There's too many. 5, right? Fast forward to last week, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance. Now, again, there wasn't any glitz and glamour, which I think was perfect for what Kendrick wanted to achieve, right? It was a walk down. I'm going to walk down my opponent. Just walking around. There's no fucking pyromaniacs. There's no fire. There's dancers, you know what I mean? But it was very pop step, this simple. There's no like real fucking, crazy ass shit. They had the camera angles were perfect in terms of like you felt like it was like a legitimate, the way they had it all staged. It was like there wasn't no fancy cut to this, you know what I mean? Cut to the big dragon, or maybe cut to a snake getting his head cut off for the year of the snake or whatever. You know what I mean? There was things where you go creatively. We need something eye-catching or visual. it wasn't visually, you know, it wasn't moving you, right? Like, and in this day and age, right, with TikTok and phones and everything like that, not a lot of people can put down their phones for a certain amount of time without just picking it back up and scrolling to the next thing, because people kind of want to always fight that weird boredom, which I don't even know if boredom exists. Like, boredom, you can be bored with anything, even something as stimulating as going to a carnival, right? You can go to a carnival and eventually you go, it's time to leave, right? You don't stay at the carnival 24/7. You don't go to the carnival the next day. You know what I mean? You don't go there for, like, if the carnival's in town for 2 weeks. You don't stay there with fucking all season passes and then just camp on the parking lot to go back, right? At a certain point you go, all right, I've been on enough rides. You know, I've had enough shitty ass fucking deep fried popcorn or deep fried pickles, whatever the fuck, the shitty food that, I'm tired. Time to go home. I've had enough, right? And with Kendrick Lamar, right, he knows when you've had enough. And right now, I think I don't know if he's dropping more music. They said he's dropping more, which is crazy. But at this point, it's like, yo, Drake's dead right now, right? At this point, Drake has one option, and I think he just has to kill the nigga or go on. He has to go on some shit where he's just like, you know what, man, I feel bad. I shouldn't have dissed Kendrick. I'm sorry. And the nigga dissed the shit out of me, right? He won the rap battle, right? Just to keep it as rap battle, because right now everybody thinks you're a pedophile, right? This is word on this. Having young girls think this nigga, what is that? Typing in pedophile. Drake. Oh, because you sing nothing. You sing to girls, right? You know what I mean? You're getting into that Michael Jackson territory, right? Michael Jackson, you know what I mean? He was hanging out with a lot of little boys for a while, right? You're singing to these little girls. Your shows are, whatever, little girls. You're serenading these little girls. We're not saying you're doing anything, but there is quite a bit of times where they'll show, like, Drake texting a young Billie Eilish. And Andrew Schultz was making the point where it's like, well, he's catering to his audience, right? But I don't know, man. If you're hanging out with, if you're texting Millie Bobby Brown when she was 16, 17, you know what I mean, late at night, and she's saying you can talk to me whenever you need, it's at a point grooming, right? Like, you're, and you know what I mean? Just make sure you hide your little sister from him. To any bitch that fall in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. Like, it's. I gotta all praise. I'm kind of glad I dissed him a few years back, because I go, Kendrick, man, Mr. Morale, and the big step was right. Or maybe, honestly, that could have been again, Kendrick Lamar is a smart motherfucker, long term. He has his end goals. You know what I mean? It's a Superbowl, man. He's genius, right? Like, as soon as the nigga said, big as a what? Big as a what? Big as a Superbowl. He probably just started plotting, like, I gotta somehow get on the Super Bowl. So, okay, this, done. It's done, right? Like, fucking, he has, like, Kendrick Lamar reminds me of one of those guys that has a fucking, one of those boards with all these strings to it. And he just every day he goes off and crosses off another fucking, either goal, enemy, you know what I mean, achievement, whatever. And he's going through it step by step, calculated. Like, it's calculus, or it's very meticulous. That's the word. Meticulous in terms of, like, the detail orientated type of motherfucker. And I knew with Mr. Morale, that wasn't him. It was maybe coming out of the pandemic, depressed. A lyricist, sometimes once they get depressed, they can be so good that they wrap everybody in depression. I go, I don't need that to be depressed. We're all depressed. We all felt that. And maybe you needed it just as a reminder. It's one of those albums that wasn't good there. Maybe in 20 years it's going to be good. That's a tough thing to do too as an artist. But it's also like, people go, especially Drake and J. Cole, go, all right, this is the time to strike. We need to get this third nigga off our back, right? Like Kendrick is he's like the nigga in the shadows, right? Let's do, let's try to, swing at him while he's just, depressed and Mr. Morale. I'm the morale guy, and there's the big steppers all around. The big three, I guess. Right? That's one of those key things where it played perfectly into it. And I don't know, man, there's no way you can think about it that much. It could also be coincidence, but at the same time, I wouldn't throw it past Kendrick. Things go. He's a short nigga and things go over his head, but in reality, man, like he is very, like if you listen to the music, he's very like he thinks about shit, each individual thing, right? And I appreciate it in terms of hip hop, right? I definitely think he's up there, man. I think he's the greatest, right? Like it's weird though that Eminem, it's if Eminem's not even in the question in terms of I don't know why, but for whatever reason I think because Eminem went pop, they just kind of dismiss him, right? I think as soon as you make any kind of like poppy song, which is weird when Drake he can code switch, right? Like if you can code switch, but being a real MC, I guess, is being a real MC. But I don't know. There's actually no, fuck that. There's pop songs too, but I guess that's enough, sucking Kendrick's dick. I just want to say I appreciate the motherfucking music, man, because it was so. I was like, man, Drake is corny and fake and this and that, but to wrap it up in the way that Kendrick did, to just summarize his life, to hit him so fucking hard. It's that arrow that knocked off fucking. It's that shit that finally, the arrow that knocked off Genghis Khan, bro. Like the nigga died, right? Genghis Khan going around being a ruthless motherfucker. It's like, I think he was killed. He had to have been killed in battle somehow at some point, right? That motherfucker don't age gracefully, right? Someone comes in along and just takes their life, and you just like, oh shit, right? And now it's like peaceful. Hip hop has gotten to that point where it's like I'm looking at people are liking conscious music again, even though my music's not like the fucking mind-numbingly deep. I go, it's something that you got to think about. Someone, you can listen to it back and go, oh shit, that was that line right there, that line. It's not all this fucking, I'm fucking a bitch, yeah, huh? And she's sucking my dick, yeah, bust on her lips, yeah. Then I go brick by brick, yeah. You could go band for band, yeah. We could go M for M, yeah. Central C to me sucks, man. The light skinned Soldier Boy, bro, like it's that dude. It's that tired flow where it's like I could go get how am I homophobic? My bitch is gay. Whatever that's it. I don't know what to say. Everything just sounds like a freestyle, man. Nowadays, and those motherfuckers they just dress cool and look cool. Have a nice chick in the video. I might do that, man. I'm gonna do that with. I think I'm gonna get a model chick, bro. I'm just gonna say fuck it. Spend some racks on a chick. Model, and just have it's gonna be a loving video. It's not gonna be any derogatory shit. I'm not gonna have her shake her ass. She's gonna have a nice ass. She's gonna have a nice ass because the you know what I mean. She's gonna have a nice ass and just talk about some lovey-dovey shit, right? But yeah, speaking of still going on the Super Bowl, it's crazy. The Eagles won. They mopped the floor with fucking. They mopped the floor with Kansas City to the point where the Eagles, I don't even. Did Philly riot? I hope they didn't. It was such a devastation that they just probably partied. I hope there was no riot. Maybe they're rioting. I don't know. Maybe they're still rioting. I don't know. But the funniest thing about Super Bowl, the commercials, was Kanye West got on his iPhone. He had a commercial, Super Bowl commercial. He's like, man, I spent all the budget money for this commercial on my teeth, nigga. Anyways, go to Yeezy.com right now. Get some merchandise. Anyways, Kendrick, I hope you kill it at the Super. Whatever he did, whatever he said. It's so funny because you go, okay. oh, well, go check out the merch line at Yeezy.com, right? The Yeezy store. And you type it in, it's literally just a white shirt with a swastika on it. And you go, what the fuck? And you type in Kanye West on Twitter, and it's like, hey, I'm not racist. How could I, I'm not racist against Jews. Some of my best friends are Jews, and I don't trust any single one of them. You know what I mean? He's like, and it's like, holy shit, he's just going in, man. Still, this nigga has no, he's like, Kendrick, if Kendrick would, if he's like, no, he's like Hitler. He's like, I love Hitler. Again, I love Hitler. Y'all can't stop me. But if it, like Hitler just kept going in, if Hitler was a comedian, right, and a roast comic, I'd say he's Kanye West right now, man. Like whatever, it's funny, man. But I don't, I do realize though, like, cause it's like, again, he's selling swastika T-shirts, which but he's a black man. Right? Like, he's really pushing the boundaries as to what you can do as an artist and rich and famous dude, right? He pulled up last week or 2 weeks ago at the Grammys, and his wife just got naked. Wife got naked, right? And now I think today they're thinking about divorce, right? It's crazy shit. Like, it's like he had his chick get naked for her, right? At a certain point, like, the way she walks around, the way she has that dead eye stare, it's almost like he's like, I don't know, man. Like there's like that brain. He's in the Simpsons, right? I like to reference the Simpsons a lot. That brainwashing gruel. I think he gave her a bunch of gruel, but to keep her ass fat and her tits big, he had to give her a lot of that brainwashing gruel. So he's like brainwashing her or whatever, and she had too much of it because he wanted to keep that ass. He wanted to keep her thick, which backfired because now she's able to think for herself, right? Like it's like when Homer's eating all that gruel in the leader, and then he just needs to come out with a chant. Which honestly, Kanye, Vultures 1 and 2 was, that's it. And you're Kanye West, right? You're in competition with yourself. A lot of these niggas fall off because they can't replicate the same simple success that they had. Which, honestly, most of the time, it's like the world hates you, right? And if the world always hates Kanye West, he probably gets into this weird realm of like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna fucking start trolling, right? Like, he made a couple of troll songs where he like skippity bloop, skippity boop, where he was like, that was supposed to be for Drake's song, and he's like, this is, it was like Drake was supposed to take it, and he made like skippity blippity boop, hippity bippity. I'm gonna spit bars, nigga, skippity dippity, and it was silly. Like it was a big fuck you to Drake, right? But I think that goes past people's heads. Like they don't understand. Like they're like at this point, I think even he's fighting with Ty Dolla $ign. Which it's fucking all of that shit is Kanye West is, to me, one of those artists that he's the modern day. Well, I said it before, I'll say it again. He's the modern day Shakespeare, right? He can make things that don't typically sound like it's. I listened to Vultures 2 front to back. I was like, I think it's better than Vultures 1, because they found their flow, him and Ty Dolla $ign. But I think when Kanye West, I think probably dealing with the guy is probably a nightmare. You know what I mean? Being one of those super out of the box artists, you can't sit down and go, hey man, that thing that you said really hurt my feelings. And he goes, nigga, fuck your feelings. And then he'll just go on. So what we got to do is, branch off this, that, and but people at the end of the day, right? Have feeling, right? Like they go, like people feel a certain way. Like it's like, hey man, stop fucking talking about the Jews. I don't want to be associated with you if you're fucking that anti-Semitic guy,
or even if you're clowning around, stop fucking around, right? Like you got to pull Kanye aside and go, listen, man. Even though you know that, like we're together making music, I can't be making music with a guy going, I love Hitler, and you know what I mean? If all Jews just disappeared, I wouldn't be that. You know, he's saying some wild shit, right? So at a certain point, right, you gotta Kanye West specifically, if you're listening, you gotta understand that not many people think that far outside the box that they'll understand that what you're doing is ironic, right? Because at a certain point, you're going at this selling a swastika is funny. Selling it on a t-shirt, on the merchandise, after fucking spending all that money on the fucking suit is funny. But what does it accomplish other than people thinking you're a fucking Nazi? It doesn't do the payoff is it's hilarious at one point, but the balancing act is like you also are just literally in Black History Month too, right? Like it's one of those things, and I don't know, man. Like maybe I'm thinking too much of it, or maybe I'm not thinking enough of it, right? The psychological ramifications of fucking having a merch line where you're like you got everybody, and there's only one shirt you can buy available, and it's a Nazi, it's a swastika it's just a white t-shirt with a swastika right in the middle. It's you know what I mean, like that almost like you go like that in terms almost stole the entire Super Bowl halftime. You know what I mean? The game itself. I've seen more fucking memes accounts talk about how wild that was as opposed to the entire game or the NFL. Like that, there's the game, there's the halftime show, and there's the commercials. Now, each category has its own thing. Eagles killed it, right? Eagles killed it in the game, right? There's only two teams in the game. In the game, the players did their best. They get the player gets the MVP. Boom, right? Now, there's the Super Bowl halftime show, right? You could steal the show. I think Katy Perry had the shark, that shark dancing at one Super Bowl, stole the show. Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, her one titty stole the show. The titty stole the show, right? There's isolated moments. Kendrick Lamar stole the show in terms. The one thing that Kendrick Lamar, where you say Drake, you know what I mean? He's smiling at the cat. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. But you know what I mean? That stole the show to the point where like everybody says say Drake with the smile on. They're putting their logos on it. It's every fucking business corporation fucking to have the duolingual owl talk about say Drake with the smile. You know what I mean? It's the owl. OVO has an owl, right? And he brought Duolingo back from the dead because they just said Duolingo owl is dead, right? Mourn for him, R.I.P. And then all of a sudden there's a fucking, post, and it's just fucking, it's marketing business, whatever. He brought the owl back from the dead, right? Just crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. Like, just it'd be funny if Kendrick Lamar just started beating up owls, and ruffling up, but just get an owl in a cage and just start shaking it. And it was like, again, that fucking stupid Simpsons episode where Homer's like, we gotta ruffle up some feathers, and he starts shaking the guy's parrot in the cage. He's like, hey, don't do that. It's like, I do what I want. It was like, I think with Mel Gibson, and it's like, we gotta shake things up a bit. You can't just be some regular, action star hero. And he just shakes up he's like, stop that, man, stop scaring my birds. He's like, yeah. He runs in and just shakes the bird in the cage. I thought that was so funny because it's so stupid, but Kendrick stole the show, right? Yeah, but that isolated. Now the isolated moment is like a backplay with the commercials, because it's like, go to the website. So for all the people that like go, all right, well, let's check out the website, had to have been ridiculous. I don't know how many people. I wish he would release the numbers on how many people actually physically bought the Kanye West Nazi swastika thing, because it's shut down. The store shut down. He's off Twitter again. It's very like you go that you can easily talk as much about that as the Super Bowl, the game, and the fucking performance. It's so fucking ridiculous what Kanye West is doing. He's like, how could I be, he's the nigga, how could I be racist? I fucked a Jewish bitch, right? Like he's into whatever it is, man. And artists go down these roads, right? Like you can never tell an artist what to do because they go, well, I'm just gonna do that more now, right? Like, and it's like, hey, don't be anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Semitic, but now I'm gonna troll y'all more and more and more and more. And it's gotten to a point where I think this nigga really I personally think this nigga really just hates it. Like the way it is. I mean, but it's silly in the sense that I don't think he's really going off about like let's get a train and let's get a big compound where we could house these. I don't think it's never gonna get to that. It's the modern day. No way. It'll never. But I'm sure there's a lot of Jewish people going like, well, we always thought it would never get, it gets to that, but it always starts somewhere. And it's like, shut up. Jews, shut up. Like, I survived the Holocaust. It's like, no, you didn't. Right? They just ran out of bullets and gas. It's not. It's, no, no. Oh, no. Biggest of what? Holocaust was big. Biggest of what? Biggest of what? Oh man, no, that's I don't know, man. I hope Kanye West is doing okay, cause the mental illness, man. Like I deal with it too, but with drugs. So if I'm just not on drugs, I'm Gucci, right? If I'm not doing all of that bullshit, even the people around you too. The people around you, especially it could fuck up your mental illness, right? Like having a chick that like kind of is brainwashed and going, I'll do whatever you say, right? Like you start to fucking pick apart each individual person as that person. If you're with somebody 24/7, you vibe with each other. But if that person's literally like, I'm just gonna, what do you want me to do, right? What do you want me to do? And you go, okay, just do this. You end up start treating your friends, family, and people that aren't even associated with that person like that person, right? Like you start going like, okay, just do this. Just shut up, do that. And you go, don't tell me to shut up, bro. Like I'm Ty Dolla $ign, right? We did literally 2 albums back to back. You're gonna, you know what I mean? You're gonna tell me to just kind of fuck off. And that's how it goes, man, with artists and shit like that. Yeah. Shows I would talk about the shows. Something happened, bro. I think their first Moonlight got shot up, right? Like someone got shot in Moonlight. They shut it down. I think they're closed for good indefinitely. So Moonlight, that was one of the venues that we were gonna be doing most shows at. And shit, it's fucked up. And I think that there's a couple of shows getting canceled on the tour already. The show that was supposed to go, the promoter fucked up or whatever. Shit's kind of sucking, but at the same time, make way for new things, bigger and better opportunities. I'll let y'all motherfuckers know. Other than that, check out Impractical Smokers. The track remix might come along soon. Keep Mediumjay and Cash Leaders popping, bitch. Biggest of what? Biggest of what? Biggest of what? It's crazy, man. Just to the super. I gotta just keep going on it. Like it's like the Super Bowl was what you said. You guys were big as. I like the light. The light looks kind of cool right now, the way the sun's hitting. But you guys are as big as the Super Bowl in a span of a couple years, maybe not even, a couple years, whenever that song was released. to now, like it's Kendrick is doing an insane gameplay run where I didn't even talk about this. He surpassed him in terms of streams, in terms of the artist units available. He had more songs or more views on the Super Bowl than Michael Jackson. So he was more views than Michael Jackson. He beat Michael Jackson's Super Bowl halftime or whatever show, right? That is crazy, right? Like, say what you want. Maybe, well, inflation of people. There's way more people nowadays, so you can cut it like that. You can say, well, at certain parts when Kendrick was rapping, quiet, you could say, oh, they added audience sound during some of the points when it was quiet. But even then, man, like, the guy broke records. He's the number one streamed artist, hip hop artist right now. He's the biggest. He's number one. Drake, he knocked you off your block. He knocked you off your horse. It's time to saddle up, baby. Get back on that bitch. But you gotta think about like I like pretending to be Drake's guy. I like to pretend to be guys. Try to be Kanye West's publicist or trying to be his Drake. You have three options. One, you kill yourself. Two, you kill Kenny. You kill that nigga, right? You send hitters that way. Or three, you just get on stage. You know what I mean? All suited up, right? You know what I'm saying? Looking, do your bullshit shit, fly ass sunglasses, the whole 9 yards, wear Gucci suit or whatever the fuck. Get on stage, you go. I ain't gonna lie, Kendrick Lamar, you cooked my ass, right? Like you got me, man. But it's all good, right? I appreciate it, I appreciate the competition. Y'all made me better, right? I'm gonna go do some, music. I'm gonna go make some music now, right? Beef's over, right? Squabble up, you know what I'm saying? And just walk up, just, you know what I mean? Y'all cook me, right? Just get on stage, go, yo. And then people go, it stops the fucking consistent, yo, Drake, you lost, you trash, you suck, right? There's so many people just constantly bombarded with, people rush to a new Kendrick song or video because they want to go, yo, Drake's sitting in his chair, in his high chair, sitting in his chair, he's sitting in the corner, Drake plays this while he's on the back, it's all those comments, right? Drake's playing this, it's memes, it's just, and to silence the memes, you just lean into the punch, right? You lean into the punches and go, yeah, you got me. Yeah. But just don't make it look like you're, kind of still angry about it. Just, you have to go yeah, you know what, man? Yeah, fucking, yo, I ain't gonna lie, man. And just take a meme or something I ain't gonna lie, man, he cooked my ass, right? Shit, you know what I'm saying? It's funny, man. I mean, shit. If you made music for, young girls and shit like that, and, it's pop music and shit, and then, call you a pedophile too, right? It's a good low-hanging fruit. It's good, man. You got me, right? But anyways, I'm gonna go back to music and shit, right? But even I don't know. Even then, that's kind of see. He called me a pedophile. Good one. Yeah, good. It's tough because it does seem like it's still, you're still mad, but there has to be some sort of acknowledgement of this. The niggas at the Super Bowl, you made a song literally where me and Taylor went for fucking hours streaming, playing video games, going biggest of what? Biggest of what? Biggest of, right after the Super Bowl, because it just feels so good. Every time you hear that, right, that song, right, if you listen to that song quite a bit, or there's a big song for Drake and J. Cole, and the pretty much the hook or the bridge of it was big as the what? Big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl. But it's like, yo, big as a what? And now it just immediately you think big as a Super Bowl. Kendrick got the Super Bowl. Drake said it, and J. Cole said that they were going to do it. The triangle is shifted, right? J. Cole, I don't even think people could look this nigga in the eyes anymore to be that type of a bitch, to just drop a song and go, and then literally the album cover is might delete later, and he deleted it, so he's off the map. Drake sitting there, he's so far down in terms of like, either you have to make some of the greatest music. I think he started making some songs with Party Next Door, but bro, like, you know what I mean, Party at the party playing with the snows now, you know what I mean, he's off coke, dude. This nigga on coke. Good luck making something that'll have an impact with the culture in the fucking, in terms of fucking Black History Month, in terms of like the broadest scope imaginable, having a Samuel L. Jackson fucking introduce you to the point when Serena Williams, and the thing ties deep in because Drake was in Serena Williams' DMs to a point where it was creepy, where Serena Williams is like, yo, leave me alone, Drake. I don't fuck with you like that, right? Like, you're a thirsty ass nigga, man. And it's like, again, I gotta say it. Listen, don't make me have to tell you again about Kendrick Lamar. Because this nigga, literally, the smile, it's the meme of, say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young. it's so like, oh shit, that was the hype of the song, of the fucking bowl. And it's such like all he did was look into the camera and smile. Like, it's like, man, fuck literally everything in this picture, the Super Bowl. I'm talking to you specifically. Here is the fucking song dedicated to when you're in the grave, all the fucking enemies that you made can dance happy, right? This is like you're dead, and you know what I mean? And it's like, I see dead people. He's walking, like it's a walking dead man, right? Like, it's genius to the point where, yo, people are like, yo, you literally Drake has to kill this nigga. It's at a point now where it's so, like, you go, the balancing act of hip hop where you go, okay, it's at that point. Hit him up, Tupac. It got to that point where we gotta kill this nigga, man. We can't beat him in hip hop anymore. We can't beat him in even the showboating. It's now at that point where we literally have to, like, so this is one of those things where I'm really worried specifically about like the safety of Kendrick Lamar, right? Because if you put yourself in Drake's shoes, like, you gotta fucking end this nigga. There is no ifs, ands, or but about it. Like, I tried to. You can't really even get on press conference anymore. There's only two options. There ain't three. I said it. You know, I know I just said that there's three, but I was like, there's nothing you can say that. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can do. But there is one thing, right? If he just and here's the thing. Picture this, guys. Obviously, I don't condone murder. None of that shit. I don't want these niggas. It's hip hop. It's, you know what I mean? Hopefully, at the end of the day, they go home and go, Drake goes, fuck it. And Kendrick goes, man, I shouldn't have hit him that hard, bro. I feel bad, right? He's like looking at his, you know, his pen still on fire, smoking, and he's like, yeah, maybe I wrote a little too deep into this shit, right? At the end of the day, they can make up or whatever, fucking. Hopefully, man, they make a poetic justice too. Not gonna happen. I think they hate each other to that degree, but imagine this, right? That all of this is, you know, a joke. It's a comedy podcast. I want to get that out there, but Drake, you know, sends some hitters. Drake sends some hitters his way. You know what I mean? He's on tour doing some bullshit. Word on the street. Oh shit, Kendrick Lamar got shot up. He's in the hospital. Oh shit, you know, it's so severe. He died in the hospital, right? Drake on stage performing and shit. Perfect alibi, you know. And people like, oh, what happened? I don't know. You know what I mean? He paid some hitters fucking months ago for a month in advance type shit to get this nigga, you know, while he's, you know, getting this nigga out while he's doing laps around the Compton block. Whatever. He gets shot up, boom, boom, boom. Kendrick is dead now. Drake gets on, you know, because everybody's like pointing the finger at Drake. Drake, you must have done something. You hated that nigga. Listen, man. And he goes, listen, man. People die every day, bro. You know what I mean? He just gets on stage. People die every day, bro. I ain't shoot that nigga. I wanted to shoot that nigga. I ain't gonna lie. If I did shoot, I wish I did shoot that nigga. But I didn't shoot that nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell that, or then they find the guy going like, this guy is a part of the OVO, you know, this and that. You had to have had some connection with. He's one of the OVO, I don't know, security guards or something. Probably. It's like, I don't condone what that nigga did. You know what I mean? And we wanted to keep it, you know, we wanted to keep it music. We wanted to keep it in the music business. We didn't want to take it to some street shit. We're bigger than that. We're better than that. And we're going to condone, you know what I mean? We definitely dropped him from the label, dropped him from the and people go, come on. And you just, you know, that's how, you know, you settle that, right? Like, you just, hey, we just, you know, gets on stage like, oh, well, what happened to that boy? You know what I'm saying? Y'all motherfuckers loved him and shit at the Super Bowl. Y'all going to his next show? Nah, not anymore. just, but it's like, it'd be that fucking, like, that is the only, literally, you gotta kill him. And then basically allude to the fact that you gotta fucking dance on the fact that that's the only way to win. That's the only way to win, Drake. You gotta literally send hitters to Kendrick, kill this nigga. And I don't condone none of this shit, guys. Please, this isn't like a call to arms or whatever the fuck, so I could get the fucking UK. I ain't trying to get banned in the UK or anything like that. I ain't trying to get a motherfucking letter in the mail saying I have to show up at the Queen's Court. You know what I mean? But if you killed Kendrick and he got on stage and just went like, "Oh my God," and what happened? Kendrick Lamar was shot. You killed Kenny? You know, I slap his knee. You bastards. Anyways, what's next? You know what I mean? Like, just go, what's next? You know what I'm saying? Biggest of what? Biggest of what? Biggest of what?